Cause I don't care what you think.
Yep.
At this mess.
It's a mess.
I built these shelves 15 years ago with my own 2 hands.
Wow. Steve.
Perhaps you should have used someone else's hands.
It's a sticky situation. Y'all, I told you I can't sing. But we back at it again. It's Steve and Laura time, man, all the time. And again, we're looking at the relationship of Carl Winslow, Laura Winslow, and Urkel. You know what I'm saying? And the dynamics and everything, all the things that they go through. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it.
Want an argument, Steve?
Well, I'm not arguing. I mean, it's just common sense that a beach ball doesn't compare.
All right.
I have to look at this again because I keep saying everybody always goes at Laura, but people don't recognize that Steve says he sometimes, not all the time, but he sometimes says things in the wrong timing, or maybe they're just insensitive, or maybe he just has no knowledge. This wouldn't have been the time to be like, well, maybe you should have used somebody else's hands. And so a lot of times what Steve does is he digs a hole in deeper, right? He throws more oil onto the fire, you know, and then wonders why people react the way they do, as Carl's about to do right here. But let's check this out, though.
Get out.
Now, Carl.
Get out.
Now, look, I realize you're upset.
Get out. I've had it with you, Steve. You stroll in here, you destroy my garage. Well, that is it. I want you out of my life and stay out.
But I've broken a lot of your stuff before and it didn't banish me.
Oh, yes, I have. Dozens of times.
Well, yes, but you didn't mean it.
Well, I do now. Now go.
Does this look familiar? It's a little late, but Laura!
Get out. Get out now.
She is so mad. You know, you get that mad, how people get that mad, and it's like all the cuss words come, and you're like, nope, I rebuke them. Let me say what I'm really trying to say. Get out.
And don't come back.
No, it's not going to work.
I have had it with you, Steve.
It's like
wind up that car and drive out of my life.
Now, Laura, you don't mean that.
Yes, I do. I don't want to think about you. I don't want to talk about you. And I don't want to hear about you. From now on, you don't exist. Now go.
You have the father version, and then you have the daughter version. I mean, to a T, right? And so this is what I'm saying. Do y'all think that when a judge, Lord, all this other type of stuff, are you recognizing the Lord did not get here on her own? We learn so much from our parents, even if they don't teach us. If it's exemplified, you know what I'm saying? We're still learning it. If it's still around us, but they tell us, you know, you have them parents that be like, do as I say, not as I do. That don't work. That doesn't work. We tend to do what you do. You know what I'm saying? And so this is what we got to look at. And why I say the character of Laura is so inspiring, because it's a reminder to us that, you know, as great as our parents may be, as great as our fathers may be, you know, is we don't want to emulate everything they do, right? Because they are human. They are not perfect.
Can I come in, Carl?
No.
Well, I was hoping we could mend our business.
Wow.
Bury the hatchet, let bygones be bygones.
Steve, you could do it by just apologizing. I don't know if it would work at this point, though, because Carl's already so upset. But, you know, apologies, you know, they never get old. Uh-oh. It just got real. It just got real.
Miss Winslow, stop.
Carl,
The ambulance is on its way.
Saved him. Woo, goodness. This still guts me. Like, even though I know, like, the outcome, it still almost guts me every time I watch. It's so just, like, Family Matters was doing their thing, man.
Edward? Dad, you're alive. Steve, I yelled at you. I told you to stay away from me. And then you saved my life.
Yeah.
I owe you an apology.
I see.
Well, there, I feel better.
Actually, really, in this situation, they both owe each other an apology. Because I'm going to get into it a little bit more. I don't think Carl's is wrong at all for being upset. I just think he goes about it the wrong way. And Steve still has yet to apologize either.
But you haven't actually given me an apology.
You haven't given him an apology.
Just thought I'd point that out for the record.
Steve. Everybody else got to apologize.
Oh, okay. Here goes. I'm sorry.
I find so interesting here is where Carl is having such a hard time apologizing. But you know who doesn't? His daughter.
Steve, I overreacted, and I'd like you to forgive me.
Wow. An apology?
Look, I owe you an apology. The only reason I asked you to be my partner was because I was worried about my grade. And I'm sorry.
Laura, I sure was shocked when you invited me to spend Christmas Eve with you.
You were? From now on, I'm going to try very hard not to hurt your feelings.
Right? That is the separator between Carl and Laura. When Laura does these same type of things, she will apologize and do it very quickly. You don't have to drag it out of her. But will do this with ease. She'll do what she wants to get off her chest. She wants it to be done with. Carl struggles in this area.
I'm sorry, Steve.
There, was that so bad?
Yeah, it really was.
So even Laura, this is what we can learn. Laura shows a little bit more high character when it comes to her interactions with Steve than her dad does. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so hard for Carl to apologize. It's not hard for Laura to apologize. It's not hard for Laura to go and take accountability, even when Steve is wrong.
Steve?
Yes, my pet?
Yes, my pet.
What you did was...
Oh.
the way you...
Oh.
Thanks for saving my daddy.
Oh. Thanks for saving my daddy. She couldn't even get the words out. Now, do you see the difference with Carl? Carl's, it was more like pride. Laura's is more emotion. Just thanks for saving my daddy. Oh my gosh, beautiful moment. And now she got the icky stuff all over her.
Varnish.
I'll just go take off these clothes.
Need some help?
Ooh. Laura, you should never say take off clothes or anything like that with Steve around. Okay? He thinks it's an invitation for some other things, for some extra activity. You know what I'm saying? Some extra activity.
I'm not that grateful.
Right.
Farewell, oh mistress of beauty. You hugged me.
Yep.
I did?
Yeah, you did, Laura.
Thou didst.
Yep.
Out of gratitude for saving your father's life. Are you grateful enough to reward me with, say, a juicy kiss?
Although that is not inviting at all. That right there is just not inviting at all. Steve, you got to work on it.
Steve, didn't you tell my father that you don't want people being nice to you out of gratitude?
Oh.
Well, yes, but
You want people to express their true feelings, right?
Oh, but don't miss
Oh, in that case, I'm going to tell you what I really think of you.
Oh. I'm a nerdy, annoying dweeb, right?
Right. And I'm very lucky to have you as a friend.
Oh. So, again, this is for the people to say, Lord, some of y'all funny. This is for the people to say, Lord never accepted Steve. This is acceptance. When Steve said, I'm annoying dweeb, right? Laura says, right. But I'm also lucky to have you as a friend. That is acceptance, guys. That is acceptance, boys and girls, okay? And she follows it up with a kiss, guys. And a kiss on the cheekity cheek, but she follows it up with a kiss. How you feel about that, Steve?
Laura, what's the matter?
Oh, nothing. Just my whole life is over, that's all.
Again?
Right. You know how that is, man. When you was a teenager, this thing, that thing, can't go to a dance, your hair ain't working right, you got a pimple, one friend ain't talking to you, and life is over as you know it. You know what I'm saying? Actually, Laura's hair is popping off right here, though. It's cute.
Come on. What happened?
Well, you see, I got invited to this really great party, right?
Of course.
The party.
Of
All
course.
the cool guys are going to be there.
Ah.
You see, the thing is, the party doesn't start till 10, and Mom says I have to be home by midnight. Daddy, isn't there something you could do to fix this?
I suppose your mother didn't realize how important this party is to you, so you go ahead and stay out an extra hour.
Lord knows how to work her daddy. She's smooth with it, boy. Smooth with it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'll explain it to your mother when she comes home.
Thanks, Daddy. You're the best.
I'm too tired to argue.
Ooh, I got to look through my closet and pick out something wild and trashy.
Oh,
What?
exactly.
Something warm and sensible.
Exactly. She said, wild and trashy. Dad said, what? But what I think is interesting here is Carl is starting to remember what he told Laura. We got to go back. Nope.
And now you've grown into a beautiful young lady.
See what I'm saying?
And sweetheart, I promise to try to treat you like one from now on.
It's the hardest thing for dads, man. So we saw that there where he said, you know, I recognize that you're turning into a beautiful young girl. But then he said that, but you're also growing up and I want to treat you like that, right? And I think that, you know, what is so dope about this moment is Laura's, you know, selling point, if you will, was all the cute, popular guys. And Daddy didn't flinch, recognizing that she's growing up and that he has to trust her. So I think what's so dope in these situations is not only seeing kind of Steve and Laura's relationship grow, but also seeing Laura and her daddy's relationship grow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
My anniversary gift back.
Too late, I already exchanged it.
Well, it was a cheap gift anyway. Because you knew that you always do this to me, Harriet.
I'm thinking they're arguing over the fact that Carl said Laura can go to the dance and Harriet told her she couldn't, and now it's spilled over to ridiculous issues. Yeah.
I hate it when you guys fight.
Laura, take it easy.
Oh, I can't. Well, Mom told me I couldn't stay out an extra hour. I should have just left it alone.
Yes, you should have.
But I didn't. I conned Dad into giving me what I
Well,
wanted.
you didn't exactly con me.
Trust me, I conned you.
She conned you. She conned you, Papa. She knew exactly what she was doing. She could not get through to Mom, so she's going to go and sit back and look oh so depressed and, Daddy, is there any way you can fix this? And you know when you go ask your daddies that, they're going to try to fix that and the other thing and the other thing. You know what I'm saying? When you go and say that. So Lois, and again, what is she doing? She's taking accountability. She's confessing. She should have done instead. This is why I keep saying Laura is such high character.
What I did was wrong, and I have to be punished. I'm grounding myself for a week.
Look at this.
But Laura, now let's not argue or I'll make it 2 weeks.
Wait a minute. Laura said, I'm grounding myself for a week. Ariel started to argue. And Laura said, don't argue or I'll make it. Don't argue. Laura cracks me up sometimes.
I know it seems harsh,
Right.
but it's the only way I'll ever learn my lesson.
It's the only way you'll... She gonna ground herself for a week.
Is it my imagination? Or is she raising herself?
Exactly. One thing that I really wanted to look at here in this particular, looking at actually what this scene right here is, what we're starting to see, I just love it so much, is the difference. Even though Laura has learned a lot of her ways from her dad, right? The way she pops off, she's learned those things from her dad, but what you also see is she's also her own self, her own individual self. Check this video out.
Made in our image, they are distinct from us. They are ultimately made in the image of God. And so that means that they were born into the world with a particular and specific personality that was given to them by God. Their personality may look like us in some ways, but it is ultimately not from us.
And why I wanted to put that video in, that's Jackie Preston and Jackie Hill Perry. And why I wanted to put that in, because I think she says something so important where she says, you know, yes, my children will have things like me, but they're really made in the image of God, which means there's specific things that God has placed on the inside of them that may not be in their parents, that, you know, their parents may not carry it all. We don't get everything from our parents. We get everything from God. And so when we see in this situation with Laura here, you know, that you saw where you know, Carl was really dragging, you know, his feet dragging, his lips dragging, his tongue, but really dragging. It was really, really, really hard for him to apologize to Steve, you know, in that moment. And we see over and over and over and over with Laura that it is not, you know, hard for her to do. Her pride does not get in the way. It's like she has to get it right. Like, I need to make that right. I need to get that right. I was wrong for that, and I need to make that wrong a right. And you see that kind of thing in Laura, and that's where you see the difference in her and her father, to where, yeah, again, I'm showing y'all, right? We showed in the video, there are some things that Laura has like her father. She may have a little bit of his temper, you know, his temperament, you know, she may handle situations and hard situations, or even, you know, individual people or different people like Steve. She may handle them the same way that her dad does because he's the example. But there are certain things about her that are still actually very, very different. And that's one of them, you know, is that Laura will apologize. And not only this, I said this before, you know, and we'll see a little bit in some videos, but I said this, that there is things about Steve that Laura finds valuable. There's things about Steve that Laura admires.
So much that you're different. It's just, you know.
What?
Well, you know, you kind of
Different.
You tried, Laura. You tried.
I like who I am, and I'm not changing for anybody.
Well, I admire you for that.
Anything you do like about me?
Well, you're intelligent. I like that. In fact, I think brains are very sexy.
Sexy.
She, you know, that there's an admiration that she has. There's a vibe she has with Steve. There's a connection that she has with Steve.
I mean it. In fact, the audience liked what you did. I mean, they gave us a standing ovation, 5 curtain calls. They loved it so much they wouldn't even let us finish the play.
Well, we couldn't finish the play. I leveled Verona.
You get what she's saying, though, Steve. You get what she's saying.
Thanks for cheering me up, Laura.
You're welcome. Touch me. Sorry.
Still not that close. That the rest of the family does not have. Or really, and not even just the rest of her family, but the rest of his family. She has a connection with Steve that she does not have with anybody else. And that's why you'll see that Laura, there's things that she believes in him. There's all these different things. And I just thought that was very important because, like I said, I'm showing you, you know, the environment that she's kind of being raised in. And the environment is not always the nicest to Steve. But Steve also, you know, can be reckless and can be insensitive, you know, and not take accountability and be a little bit immature. So we understand, you know, even though y'all don't want to give Laura, you know, the grace, there is grace sometimes to why she pops off at Steve, just like why Carl pops off at Steve. But I will say they don't handle it in the right way. But what I love about Laura, like I said before, is she will work to get it. It's because of her, and this is why I love that, because she was made in the image of God, right? And so there's, like I said, there's things about her that nobody else in her family has. And one of those things is the connection that she has with Steve, is the vision, is the heart, you know, that she has with Steve. It's a very, very beautiful thing. And just even getting into it, you know, when people want to go and be like, Laura never accept y'all, oh my gosh, right? With some of y'all, a lot of you say, Laura didn't accept him, you know, but like I said, in this specific scene, she accepts him.
Now, I'm a nerdy, annoying dweeb, right?
Right. And I'm very lucky to have you as a friend.
And just also to point out, you know, people, she didn't accept Steve. Laura is saying stuff to Steve right now that nobody else has even said to him. I'm saying, how many people have actually said to Steve, and I'm lucky to have you as a friend? How many people have said that to Steve? I bet very little, if none, maybe only one in her. You know, Steve goes and says, I'm a dweeb, I'm a nerd, I'm annoying, right? And Laura doesn't be like, no, you're not that. No, she said, no, you are that. You actually are that. But despite all that, I am lucky to have you as my friend, right? And so again, what I'm saying is, like, I think Laura is starting to not only appreciate and understand the connection she has with him, but she's also starting to understand, but I think she's also starting to really appreciate Steve in a way that the rest of her family has not caught up with. They have not caught up with her yet. And I think that that's some of the things you see is that there's just an appreciation and a recognition that Laura has for Steve, and her family got to catch up. You know what I'm saying? You can see that God's doing something here, and maybe the family doesn't understand, and maybe even Laura doesn't understand, and maybe Steve wants it so bad, so bad, so bad, but there is something that's working. And that is, again, just bring it back around for a second. That is the beauty of God, and that is the beauty of what Jackie was talking about, that a part of, I say this all the time, we think we're here with our purpose. It's like, no, we're here for his purpose, and God's purpose, for Laura was Steve. And so there's certain things that Laura has placed, that God has placed in Laura, that he's only put in her, that the rest of her family doesn't have, because it's only for her to give to him. You know what I'm saying? And that is just the beauty of our individuality, even when it pertains to our whole family. I think that's the thing that we can just be reminded of, is sometimes it's okay to step out. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I just want to reiterate, God put us here with purpose, with his purpose. And so there's things that may be on the inside of you. There's things, that he has designed specifically for you to do that maybe nobody else in your family, has ever done. A lot of times we look at family and we're like, I want to do what my dad did. I want to do what my mom did. I want to do what my auntie did. I want to do what this person did. We get motivation. That's good. When you have people in your family that can, have done things and they can, motivate you, that's great. But the thing too that we have to remember is that what God has for you though? Because God, made you a specific way with specific gifts, with a specific personality, with specific desires, right? For you to fulfill the purpose that he has planned for you. What it is with Laura, like I love that, Laura is, she's a little bit more, I don't want to say kind, but gracious to Steve, right? She's a little bit more gracious to Steve. And it's like I said, because there's, things on the inside of her that, that God has placed on the inside of her to fill his purpose. And part of Laura's purpose is Steve, and that's the thing too, that we have to remember is our purpose is always connected to somebody else. It's always connected to other people too. So just want to encourage people in that, sometimes it can be hard. And I'm talking specifically like when you feel the Lord is leading you here or telling you to do this. I encourage you in that because we deal with this so much from the state of family and the state of culture and the state of our parents that, we feel like if we don't do what they want us to do or how they did it, we're doing it wrong. And I just want to encourage people in that, when it comes to the Lord, like that's why I keep saying seek the Lord, because he made you, like he knows you better than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Encourage you, if you do not have, a supporting parent, a mother, a father, there is a heavenly Father who loves you, who made you, you know what I'm saying, has great things in store for you. You are not rejected. You are loved. Encourage people with, I think it's so powerful. Again, giving yourself grace, again, I'm gonna keep saying, God, he really answers the whys. God, why was I born into this family? Why was I born like this? Why was I born where my mama don't care? Why was I born where my daddy don't care? Why was I just why? You know what I'm saying? You can be filled with such anger in those moments, but I just want to encourage you here in 13. It says, as a father has compassion on his children, so the Lord has compassion on those who fear him. Here's another one. Just want to encourage you. Last one, 2 Corinthians 6:18. It says, and I will be a father to you, and you shall be my sons and daughters to me, says the Lord Almighty. Says the Lord Almighty. Yeah, man. Love God, love people. May God bless you. May God keep you.
Yeah, take a risk, don't never take a break. Never. Make it